Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event, the Drum Programmatic Punch. Please welcome your host for the day, the Drum's Managing Director of Live Events, Lynn Lester.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Drum's Programmatic Punch, the event where we thrash out all the key topics in the digital advertising world, everything from AI, out of home, and of course, data. We're going to hear from some amazing speakers. Some have been feisty already, and I'm sure we're going to hear from a lot more big hitters.
So my top takeout from today's session was that we need to build transparency in the industry. As part of that, we need to develop deeper, more meaningful relationships with clients. And we also need to educate consumers as to how their data is collected.
So I think ad tech has enormously altered the advertising landscape over the past decade, but I think most fundamentally it took media from a game of scale to a game of skill. It used to be that if you were the biggest player, you could buy media the cheapest and arguably the best. Now, what matters is, are you the most skilled at using the tools? Do you have the best data? Are you the best player within the auction?
So it's just part of the programmatic new frontiers, together with other thought leaders in the space, on the gaming space, audio space, out-of-home space. And what we learned is that there was a massive shift happening in the industry, and new channels such as gaming, audio, that are a bit different, are starting to be embraced by advertisers on a global scale.
The panel that I was on was very interesting, very good panelists, all of us facing more or less the same issues, namely that programmatic needs to evolve and go beyond just display and video and more towards sophisticated and customized executions.
So what I've really enjoyed about the event so far is that every topic that you guys have covered, you've covered it hearing from different perspectives, from different people. So it's quite interesting to talk about one subject and hear different angles on the same topic.
My top takeaway from the session was we need to start shifting to audience-led buying rather than channel-led buying, because we're now seeing people consume media in different ways across audio, gaming, other digital channels, and we really need to have that as a way of planning rather than the channel itself.
Many organizations today see regulation as the face with a nuclear option. They have to just go opt-in. What we're seeing best practices being deployed by the industry is to try to find ways of not making just a nuclear option, actually bringing more granularity and actually choice to the consumer.
So I believe the industry should focus on audiences and addressability, so really going where the eyeballs are and getting rid of silos and various channels, just focusing on audiences and where they are.
I think one of the key takeaways for me is how much things are changing and how there's been a real embracing technology. At this event today, that so many of the speakers have talked about how they're testing things out, they're using new bits of technology. We just had a great session on AI, and that for me is really powerful, because it means that as an industry now, we're really getting into this, we're really testing it out for the first time.
So I think there are two key trends going into 2020. And in both of these, we've made amazing strides already, but I think they're going to be even more important going forward. The first one is collaboration, so how we can work together, particularly among media owners and publishers. And secondly, data. And I think this is about using data in different ways. So not just in terms of targeting and hyper-personalization, but how can we really use data to develop insights that will help with product development and solutions development and business models going forward.
For 2020, that is going to be media agencies reorganizing to better develop the digital out-of-home and the programmatic side of it. That is going to be the use of different devices, different screens to be able to be more efficient, mobile and out-of-home, connected TV and out-of-home from a programmatic standpoint.
I think the one thing that the industry should be focusing on is that the open internet is ultimately a lot larger than any walled garden. I think it's a real shame that they've got so much airtime when ultimately there's much more reach, there's more ability for brands to create competitive advantage within the open internet, and ultimately that's where the innovation is happening.
I really enjoyed today in that it got into some of the detail. There was some really good technical discussion of very specific topics within programmatic. Often with events it can be too high level and panels, everybody agreeing with each other, but today I think we got to the core of a couple of really important issues.